Welcome back. The Senate working through the night on President Trump's tax and spending bill. I haven't called it that before, the one big, beautiful bill. Emily Wilkins joins us now with the latest on where things stand. Emily, and where they stand relative to what we might have expected when you went to bed last night.
Hey, Wilfred, yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of movement here in the Senate, and what we've now heard from Senate Majority Leader John Thune is that he thinks a deal is there, and that a vote can happen soon. Other senators who I've spoken with this morning say that they believe that we are going to get a vote soon. What we are expecting is for 3 Republican senators to likely vote against this bill: Senator Rand Paul, Tom Tillis, and perhaps Susan Collins. They've been working on Lisa Murkowski all morning long, and it sounds like she might now be a yes. Senator Ron Johnson also told me that he's a yes, so it sounds like fiscal hawks are now on board with this. Just to note here, of course, once this passes in the Senate, and of course they'll need J.D. Vance to do it, this would then be going over to the House. The House is meeting today to start teeing up the process with hopes that they can move it tomorrow. But then again, listen to what President Trump said this morning when he spoke with reporters on the White House. He sounded like there's actually a bit of flexibility in when he expects this to be done. Give a listen.
I'd love to do July 4th, but I think it's very hard to do July 4th. It was 2 months ago. I would think maybe July 4th, but somewhere around there.
So Trump there saying that it sounds like he would be okay if this goes a little bit past July 4th. But of course, if the Senate does pass this today, that does mean that the House could have time to move it, assuming, of course, that they have the votes. We have heard a number of fiscal hawks in the House raise certain frustrations with the bill. But what the Senate is on track to pass, and we don't have the final bill text yet, but we know some of the bigger amendments that were raising concerns, ones about cutting Medicaid or potentially adding funding back to those solar energy tax credits. Those are not going to get a vote. The only real amendment that has changed this package in a substantial way is one that has removed that 10-year moratorium on states implementing their AI laws that came out last night. So still a bit of a process to go, but it looks like the Senate is having a breakthrough right now, and we could see votes pretty shortly. Guys?
The senators, have they been telling you they've noticed? I'm sure they must have noticed. I guess the question is the extent to which they care. Elon Musk's tweets over the last 24 hours, and particularly as it relates to deselection.
So we haven't seen that actually really have that much of an impact in the Senate at this point. But I am interested to see what it does mean in the House. You saw Musk go ahead and tweet that he was actually donating to Thomas Massie's campaign. And we know that Massie is one of the, I think, maybe the most clear no over in the House. So we'll be watching that closely to see if that emboldens some of the fiscal hawks to really stick to their guns when they come to the cost of the bill. But the fact of the matter is, and we've seen this story play out on Capitol Hill so many times, you get a bill that's this big and has this many things in it that conservatives want, that lawmakers want, that Trump wants. It is very hard for any one lawmaker to vote against it and be known as the one who held up progress over 1 or 2 things in the bill. Guys?
Right, just to do the math again, so if Murkowski's a no, you still get J.D. Vance and you still can pass, correct?
So they can do 3 no's. So at this point, it's looking like our no's would be Rand Paul, Tom Tillis, Susan Collins. Lisa Murkowski was the 4th. If she was going to be a no, they would not be able to pass. But it sounds like now they might have gotten Murkowski to a yes. So they'll still need Vance,
it's in the
but they can only lose 3.
Emily, didn't they rule something out that Alaska was going to benefit from?
Yes, they did. There was some language in there on both SNAP and Medicaid that would have benefited Alaska. The parliamentarian ruled that SNAP could be in, that Medicaid couldn't. We also know, though, that there was some more text that Murkowski was looking at. She was reviewing it with some of the GOP leadership folks. And remember that one of the final amendments they're going to vote on here, it's what's known as wraparound text. And basically, it will make a bunch of smaller changes within the larger bill. So we don't have, again, that final Senate text yet. We're going to have to see when that amendment comes out, what changes are made, and if there might be certain benefits that were given to Alaska in order to get Murkowski on board.
Okay. And the AI moratorium on the state level is out now for 10 years, the 10-year moratorium.
That's out.
Right?
That's gone.
Okay.
Yes.
Emily, thank you.
That part's out of the bill.
If they don't pass it, they're going to have to figure out an urgent way to raise the debt ceiling. And Republicans and Democrats, I think, are going to have to explain why they voted for a huge tax increase. Because that's ultimately how Republicans are selling this, that if this does not pass, there will be a big tax increase if they have to revert back to previous taxes.
Yeah, right.